Hello, Michael Yon, live from Chiang Mai, Thailand. Let's hope this thing is going. Please tell me if the audio is good. As you can see, I'm in a hurry. I've got to be prepared to do an interview on the John Batchelor Show with Gordon Chang at 9:45 p.m. That's 21:45 Eastern Standard Time, which is coming up very soon. And so I've got about 21 minutes left here. I'm going to do the interview with Gordon Chang and John Batchelor, and then I will come back online here after that interview. Many things happening with the virus today. Beyond the virus, look at how Italy is basically falling apart. Please let me know, by the way, if this audio is coming out well. Hello, Wayshawn. Good morning from Wayshawn. And Grant says, okay, good. All right, let's see if it's good. Good to go. Matthew says, all right. And on YouTube also sounds good. All right, good. YouTube and Facebook folks are saying good. Let's get rolling because I've got 21 minutes and then I've got to shut off to do the interview on the John Batchelor Show with Gordon Chang. I love doing that interview with them. You should listen to them constantly on the John Batchelor Show. Now, the World Health Organization has finally declared a pandemic. Of course, I was declaring a pandemic back in January, and I think a few others were as well. Steve Bannon certainly was. He started this show roughly in January, right? And also this very informed individual named Chris Martenson. He also has been declaring it as such roughly at about the same time I did, I think, sometime around there. I discovered him later. Anyway, Italy falling apart. I'm getting a lot of messages from Italy. Got some several audio messages yesterday from Italy and also many emails. It's just completely collapsing. The system is collapsing and effectively already collapsed in some parts. The entire country is on lockdown. I say that with somewhat of a grain of salt because flights are still coming in to the United States. You can go on Expedia right now and see that Air France and others, for instance, Delta, I think, KLM, United, quite a few others are still flying directly from Milano, which is like flying from Wuhan directly to the United States, directly to Washington, D.C. It's unbelievable. The CDC and the World Health Organization have proven to be part of the problem. Speaking of which, I was threatened less than 12 hours ago with a donor, one of my donors, that she said that I sound like a puppet for the World Health Organization. And I'm thinking to myself, me? Puppet for World Health Organization? Obviously, you've not been paying attention. Anyway, she threatened that she would cut her donations to me if I didn't get in line. And I told her, please cut your donations now. You are no longer welcome here. Have a nice day. Obviously, she knows nothing about me. 2 people have cut donations in the last 12 hours. So because I'm saying things that are very uncomfortable. Remember, back in the Iraq War and the Afghan War, this happened big time and has cost me financially huge amounts over the years. And yet I still continue to deliver, to say where the ball lands, no matter where, no matter how it affects your team or mine. My team is the team that is very pro-human and pro getting rid of Chinese Communist Party and very pro putting up very strong border protections within the United States, as I have been for many years. And this disease only, well, it doesn't even underline it. It just understates, if anything. I mean, it's the same thing we've been saying for years. We need severe border controls. We're still accepting flights from Italy right now. Italy is basically in complete meltdown, right? Let me see a couple of, hello in Canberra, Jennifer Hack. Let me see. Let's see. Oh, thanks, Ryan. Please do pick up donations for her. I need them, actually. I need them quite a lot. But I'm still not going, like, for instance, when I started going after Generals Menard and General McChrystal in Afghanistan, you know, and people cut donations immediately. And I was like, but I never stopped. I still attacked McChrystal. And the fight between McChrystal and me started in 2010. I'm attacking him right now in the middle of a virus storm because he was losing the war. And who's losing the war with the virus right now? I think we can all think of a few people, right? I have supported President Trump day in and day out when he's attacking the Chinese Communist Party and on the border control. The immigration issues are vital, and also not just handing over we can go on for hours about things I actually have supported President Trump on, and like by miles better than Bernie Sanders or Biden, who seems to have some degenerative issue. But at this time, President Trump, I would give him an F plus on how he's handling this virus. Not an F minus, but because he certainly did cut off flights to Hubei way back when. So that would give him an F plus at this point. I was giving him a D. And this is coming from someone who actually likes Mike Pence. Anyway, so the fact that we're still accepting flights in from Italy. Let's talk about, I've got 16 minutes, and then I have to be ready for the John Batchelor Show with Gordon Chang. Let's talk about hospitals. Italy has been overwhelmed, right? And the whole country is in meltdown at this point. Germany's next, France, Spain. You've noticed what's happening in Spain, Iran, so many. It's coming. Right now, the hurricane is now right off the coast. It's no longer off the coast of Africa forming, right? It is now licking the coast of Florida. It is literally licking the coast of Florida. This is the calm before the storm. The United States is going to get smashed in about 2 weeks or so, roughly, right? But we're still not doing anywhere near sufficient testing, and will not be for at least a month. We're still pushing. We're having now precursors on even building enough test kits. There's so many problems. Let's not go into that. Let's talk about the hospitals, right? In Italy, hospitals are now overwhelmed. If you get hurt in a skiing accident, if you get hurt in a bicycling accident, if you get hurt in a car accident, if you have any kind of thing that goes wrong at this point, you're going to be at the back of the line just like everybody else. It's not like, oh, I've had a car accident, so I'll just go to the front of the line past all these other people who are dying from Xi's disease, from the China plague, right? That the World Health Organization has tried to call COVID-19. It's actually Xi's disease. It's a subset of Xi's disease. The Wuhan virus, the China plague, is something that developed out of Xi's disease. And it is going to ravage Europe. Netherlands is already getting hit hard, and they're still in denial. If there's any good news out of what's about to happen to the United States and some other countries, it's that in about 2 weeks, we won't have to listen to chumps tell us that we're panicking anymore and don't panic and this is just the flu. Because in about 2 weeks, we won't have to listen to their nonsense anymore. But at this point, when our hospitals get overwhelmed, and notice that I used the word when, and I did not caveat that. I did not couch it. When our hospitals get overwhelmed in the United States and people have car accidents, as they do every single day, as they fall off ladders every day, as children get sick every single day, guess what? And this disease looks like it's starting to affect younger people. This just in. Let's see. New information. Let's see how it shakes out. But it's been affecting young people all along, but just not to the level that it's affecting people over 60 and 65, 70. They're doing triage now in Italy to the point where, I mean, they're making doctors, not at courtroom level or anything. Doctors are making a decision. Treat this one, not that one. That one dies. It's wartime rules. Wartime rules are in effect in Italian hospitals at this point. It's treat this one, don't treat that one dies. It's that simple. They don't have enough ventilators. They don't have enough medical staff. Doctors, nurses getting sick, not enough hospital beds. You get into a car accident, guess what? There's not enough beds, period. And that's what's coming to the United States. There's a few things that we can do, of course. Stay home, which is what I'm mostly doing. I venture out quickly to check out how things are going around here. I had to take my dog to the doctor, but I go in my PPE, latex gloves, wash hands immediately. I'm totally like, I don't even wear this shirt. None of these clothes that I'm wearing now leave my home. Nothing that I wear. And when I come home, I change in the back outside. I don't even bring my clothes indoors at this point. We're all probably most of us are going to get sick. I'll probably get sick as well, right? But we can at least smooth the curve, try to slow down, reduce that spike, right? Very important. This is definitely a pandemic. Younger people are definitely getting hit. We've reached the point where the World Health Organization and the CDC they're part of the problem. But let's see, there are a few things we can do. Take vitamin D, right? See, I got vitamin D. Or get out in the sunshine, like I'll get out in the sunshine today. Take vitamin C. There are some things that we can do to help ourselves, right? A few things. It's not huge, but it's something. Vitamin D and vitamin C are probably helpful. Take them. Vitamin D, vitamin C. Obviously, I don't make any money on vitamin D and vitamin C. I went to a pharmacy yesterday to check out how things are going, and I watched for a while. 3 people working in the pharmacy, not a single one wearing mask or gloves. 3 people working in a pharmacy yesterday, not a single one were wearing masks or gloves. I went in totally decked out. iPro, my 3M 7502 mask and latex gloves and clothes that I don't wear inside. I hang them out. They're in the sun, before I wear them and after I wear them. This is no joke, real live fire. Hello in Brazil. And Barbara's saying millennials are traveling right now because flights are so cheap. Well, as I've been saying for a long time now, get to where you want to hunker down, because at any time now, your flights can be canceled. And remember, the flight cancellations can come from many different directions. It can come from the airlines just shutting down because there's not enough, they're losing money, right? It can come from the government where the flights originate or where the flights land. It can come from the pilots and stewardesses just going on strike. It can come from the security at the airport going on strike. It can come from the airport staff going on strike. There's many levels of fault levels here that any one of these breaker switches goes off and you're stuck somewhere. Then you're stuck in Indonesia. You're stuck in Italy. Amazingly, we haven't cut off flights to Italy yet, or all of Europe. How long have I been saying we need to cut off all flights to the United States? January. It's too late. Containment is out of the window. Anybody that's talking containment is way behind the curve. They're not even in the conversation. Anybody that's still calling this flu, I will give a break to some people because I know what it's like when I would go off to wars and stuff and I would come back and there would be all these political things going on and I have no idea what they're talking about because I've been focused on a war. And there's a lot of people here that are focused on other things like their children, raising children, whatever. They've got problems at work. They got all kinds of things going on in their life. They're just not paying attention to the news. Then they pop out and they see the CDC or somebody say, this is just like the flu. And they go, well, this is just like the flu because they're not paying attention. But for those of us who are paying attention, we realize this is not just like the normal seasonal flu. This is going to kill probably millions of people. At this point, I would bet, at least, 25-1 odds that this is going to kill way over 1 million people, in the tens of millions probably. We should actually start a bet. How many Americans will die from this? Now, you shouldn't bet on things like that. I'm from the South. That's very, like the British would be like, whoa, what did you just say? And I'm sure my Japanese friends would as well. But it's a way of getting attention to what's going on right now. How many Americans do you think will die between now and, say, Christmas of New Year's Eve of 2022? I would bet well over 1 million. Well over 1 million. Now, let's see how many will actually be diagnosed of dying from this instead of something else. For instance, they will be diagnosed as dying from seasonal flu. Who knows? How many people are going to die indirectly from this because they couldn't get treatment that they needed? Or we couldn't get medicines because more than 80% of our pharmaceuticals and their APIs, active pharmaceutical ingredients, come from China. How many people are going to die from secondary effects or tertiary effects? These third order effects, for instance, the economy is collapsing. Italy, down. Italy is smashed. Meanwhile, Italy is still going off to sports events, not within Italy, but internationally. We can talk about that later. I've got 7 minutes and I have to leave because I have to be prepared. Let me make sure that Lee I didn't get any messages from John Batchelor's show. I have not. All right, so I've got about 6 minutes, and then I'll have to shut off. So let's try to do a couple questions here. Hello, Wisconsin. That's where Jan Janssen is from. Let's see. All right. Okay, let's see here. Again, people are shutting off their support for me, financial support, because I'm delivering bad news. What do you want? Feel good news so that you're not prepared? Make sure if you haven't bought food yet, you need to do it. Italy, as just one example, is now in shutdown. Remember, Italy, don't even think Italy, think Europe. And if you're thinking Europe, you're thinking Eurasia. If you're thinking Europe or Asia, you're thinking everywhere in the world, right? Especially the United States. Canada is not doing any better than we are. There's nobody doing well other than Hong Kong, Taiwan, South Korea, although South Korea is getting smashed. But South Korea is actually very proactive about it. Hong Kong, Taiwan, Singapore, and South Korea. Hong Kong, everybody's going to get hit, but they're flattening the curve on this big spike that overwhelms our medical systems. So Hong Kongers can actually still get a hospital bed, amazingly, given the population density and proximity to China. And it's not the Hong Kong government. I want to say this very clearly. It's not the Hong Kong government. It's people like you and me, but they're Hong Kongers because they're the ones wearing the mask. Look at the Boston hospital, the hospital in Boston, that photo I put, a friend sent it to me some hours ago. The hospital is saying, wear a mask when you come in our hospital. Well, Hong Kongers don't need to be told that. Japanese don't need to be told that. But our CDC, and since they didn't prepare and build a strategic stockpile of masks, don't have masks. So they're saying, don't wear masks. They don't help anyway. They've directly lied. CDC will not recover credibility. They will not recover with me, probably for the rest of my life, unless they fire like the top 10% of leadership, like en masse. Like, fire 1,000 top people there and just out with one entire bureaucracy and replace it. But they won't do that, obviously, and certainly should not do it during a wartime. We're at war right now. But certainly top leadership at CDC needs to be fired. I've been saying since January, look at the Jordan Harbinger interview with me in January. We pre-taped that in January. He aired it in February sometime, where I'm saying this virus is the one thing that can knock out President Trump in the next election. And I have been supporting many of his policies on CCP, Chinese Communist Party, and other issues. And I certainly don't want Bernie Sanders. It does not follow to say that because Trump is getting a failing grade on this, that Bernie Sanders would do better. He would not. He's a communist. Joe Biden seems to have some sort of mental degenerative disease. Bloomberg is basically the ambassador for Xi in China. Let me see if that was an email from the John Batchelor show, just in case they're changing the time. Oh, Ryan, thank you. You just donated. I hugely appreciate it. You can see how many few donations I get by the fact that there was one email came in about donations. There's not a lot because I do things that don't make money, unfortunately, but they're incredibly important. Many people have told me that they have stocked their pantries, that they have prepared. Actually, today I'm going to go out and look for oxygen. I think I found a place where I can possibly buy it in case any of my family or friends get sick here and can't go to the hospital in Thailand, because Thailand's messing up just as badly as the United States. I got 3 minutes. I want to say one thing. Thailand, in the last 24 hours or so, 48 hours max, many of the top banks have stopped taking foreign currency because they're saying foreign currency, may have the virus. So they've shut down. And like one bank in particular, for instance, is giving all the people that were giving foreign currency exchange 14 days quarantine, right? What good does that do? As if Thai money doesn't have it. You know what I mean? So, but they've shut down the foreign currency exchange. We're busy here. We're doing something to help. They're like the United States. Thailand is just as bad as the United States on this. Thailand, United States, Canada, UK, you're pathetic. Ireland's doing some things well. Spain, Italy, Germany, France, all pathetic, unbelievable, all just as bad as China. Ones that are doing it right. Hong Kong, Singapore, South Korea, I think. Let's see on Japan. Singapore, Taiwan, Hong Kong, and South Korea, I think. And probably Japan, but I'm looking into that more. I want to call up more of my Japanese friends today. I'm going to have to go in about 2 minutes. Hello, Pamela. I'll come back on. I've got to do the John Batchelor show, and then I'll come back on. There's many things to talk about. Yeah, exactly. If I were running for president right now, I would go into a bunker because nobody's going to beat Trump politically right now. I would go into a bunker and wait for this virus to smash into everybody that's out there shaking hands and see who's left standing, because this election that's coming up could literally come down to who's left standing. Senator Marco Rubio, stay in a bunker. Or Governor DeSantis, stay in a bunker, right? Or I asked General Petraeus hours ago, will you run for president? He responded immediately the way he always responds to me. He's like, nope, thanks, Michael. How are you doing? I'm like, looking for our president. How about where you at, James Mattis? Come back, James Mattis. We need a president that knows the playing field and realizes how serious these things are. I got to go. That's my alarm. I got to get ready for the John Batchelor show. I'll be on with Gordon Chong in about 45 minutes. I got to do last minute studying. And, I'll be back. And you know who said that? If I can turn this thing off. Here we go. Finish. End broadcast. Mic out.